She said no. One word, two letters, and it shattered a teenager boy so completely that he carried it with him for the next 4 decades. Through 2 marriages, 2 divorces, a back injury, a career change, and hundreds of lonely drives past a house just to catch a glimpse of a woman who didn't even remember his name. But here's the thing about a love that deep. The universe has a way of settling its debts. If you've ever rooted for the underdog, if you've ever believed that the right person comes at the right time, not a moment sooner, then you need to stick with this one. Subscribe to Crime Flux Stories right now, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me, do you believe in love that lasts a lifetime? Because this story is about to test everything you think you know about timing, patience and fate. Let's go. It is January 1999 and Georgine Martin is 51 years old, recently widowed and sitting quietly in her home in Wisconsin, the same small city she has lived in her entire life. A delivery arrives. Red roses. She isn't entirely surprised. Her husband had passed away not long before, and flowers from well-wishers had become a familiar sight. She reaches for the card, half expecting a neighbour's name and church friend, maybe someone from her husband's old job, but the name on the card stops her cold. Jerry Zimmerman. She says it out loud, the way you do when words feel foreign in your mouth. Jerry Zimmerman? She turns it over in her mind. Where does she know that name from? And when it comes, not a vivid memory, not a face, just a faint echo of a high school yearbook, 1965. Farnsworth Junior School. She opens the card and begins to read. Dear Georgine, I was a classmate of yours. Though I don't believe you knew who I was painfully shy and you were the prettiest girl I had ever seen. Georgine reads on, her curiosity sharpening with every line. The man explains that he lives in Washington, D.C., but keeps close ties to Wisconsin. He visits several times a year, and then, with a gentleness that somehow lands harder than boldness ever could, he writes, I'll be visiting the weekend on May 15th, and I'm wondering if we could meet for a coffee. I am, however, sensitive to the recent loss of your husband. If this approach comes too soon, I will understand and wait another 40 years. Georgine sets the card down. Wait another 40 years? She almost laughs, not cruelly, but with a kind of startled warmth you feel when something unexpected reaches you in a soft place. She thinks, why not? She was curious. If nothing else, it would be nice to hear a story she had never known was being written about her. She wrote back, and she said yes. Now let's go back, because to understand what that yes meant, you have to understand what the no cost. Jerry Zimmerman first noticed Georgine in 9th grade. That's where this story truly begins. Not in 1990 with roses and a carefully composed letter, but in the high schools of a Wisconsin junior high school in the early 1960s, where a painfully shy boy saw a girl with sparkling eyes and felt something he had no words for. He didn't speak to her, not in 9th grade, not in 10th. He would see her in the halls, catch the briefest glance from those eyes, and feel what he later described as a jolt, the kind of feeling that shoots straight through you before your brain has time to process it. He carried it in silence the way shy people do, letting it build into something enormous because he never let it out. By junior year, something had changed. Jerry had a car. That mattered in 1963. A car meant freedom, confidence, the possibility of a new version of yourself. One morning he was driving to school when he spotted her, Georgine walking with a friend just ahead on the road, and before his shyness could lock him down, before that familiar paralysis could take over, Jerry Zimmerman pulled over. He rolled down the window. He asked if they wanted a ride. They said yes, and there she was, the girl he had been quietly devoted to for 2 years, sitting inches away from him in the front seat of his car. He could have introduced himself, could have said anything, a joke, a question about class, literally anything, but he was overwhelmed. The reality of her was too much. He drove the way in silence, and then they reached school. Georgine and her friend climbed out, said thank you, and walked away. Jerry sat in the parking lot alone, replaying it. Okay, he told himself, next time. He spent the entire school day constructing a plan. It was simple, almost elegant in its optimism. After the last bell, he would drive the roads around school. He would find Georgine walking home, surely with the same friend. He would pull over. He would offer a ride. She would sit next to him again, and this time he would say something. This time it would be different. When the bell rang, Jerry was already running to the car park lot. He found her, same road, same friend. He pulled over, rolled down the window, smiled. Fancy another ride? Georgine looked at him. No, we're going to walk. The window went back up slowly. The car pulled away slowly. Everything moved in slow motion now, the way it does when the world has just rearranged itself in a way you weren't prepared for. He drove home devastated. It sounded small, doesn't it? A teenage girl choosing to walk home with her friend instead of getting in a car with the boy she barely knew. From her side, it meant nothing, a casual decision, forgotten within the hour. But inside Jerry Zimmerman, that single symbol, no clarification, into something permanent. And then, as if the universe wanted to make sure he got the message, senior year he found out Georgine was engaged. Jerry didn't approach her again. Life moved on the way it insists on doing. Jerry graduated. He found work making deliveries for an electric and plumbing wholesaler. He was good at it, and he liked the rhythm of the job, the roads, the routine, the people. But in 1983, when he was 36, a back injury ended all of that. He was pushed behind a desk and he hated every minute of it. Then came the divorce, then the death of his father. If we keep his score, Jerry is sitting at job loss, broken marriage, grief, the kind of stack that either breaks a person or quietly builds something in them. One evening, he opened the local paper and found an ad. University of Wisconsin. Do you want to improve your life? He read it twice. He went to the library. He met with a counselor. He signed up for 2 classes, not because he was convinced, but because he had nothing to lose. He loved it. He earned a degree in physical geography. He became a cartographer at the U.S. Geological Survey in Washington. Eventually, he was promoted to the Department of Defense's mapping agency in Washington, D.C. The farm boy from Wisconsin was now living in the national capital, surrounded by momentum and motorcades, still calling home every week, still returning twice a year, once in July for his birthday, once at Christmas. And almost every time he came back, he would drive past Georgine's house, just to get a look. He checked the local phone book. Her name was right there, listed beside her husband's. He never called. He never knocked. He just drove past and kept his feelings in place where they couldn't embarrass him or hurt him. Jerry married twice more. Neither wife ever knew, but his friends knew. They had watched this play out for decades, the way small friends do. They knew about the car rides. They knew about the no. They had heard his name come up whenever Georgine was mentioned. In December of 1998, Jerry was back for Christmas. He caught up with his old friend Frank Cooper over coffee. Have you seen Georgine lately? Frank asked. No, not at all. Her husband had died. The room went quiet, or at least it did inside Jerry. Georgine's husband had succumbed to a brain tumour. She had been his caretaker through a long illness, and now she was alone. Jerry had to get back to Washington, but before he left, he stopped at a florist. He stood there in that shop, this 51-year-old man who carried a feeling for 35 years without ever properly naming it out loud, and he picked a red rose. He then picked up a card and began to write. He was careful, sensitive to her grief, honest about his own shyness, and at the end, that line, the one that would change everything. If this approach comes too soon, I will understand and wait another 40 years. He drove back to Washington, and every day he checked his mailbox. When her reply came, he called her that same night. They talked for over an hour. When May arrived, Jerry drove down a brief weekend trip, nothing elaborate. At 51, Jerry Zimmerman was finally going on his first date with the woman he had been quietly devoted to since he was 14 years old. He was nervous in a way that felt completely strange. The same nerves, the same heart rate, just an older boy carrying them now. Georgine was just as beautiful. Her hair had changed, she was still petite, and the first thing she said to him when she saw him was, "Wow, are you skinny?" Not exactly the reunion line you'd expect from a Hollywood script, but both of them laughed, and in that laugh something unlocked. What Jerry didn't know, what he couldn't have known, was that Georgine had been praying, quietly, privately, in the way some people do when they've lost someone and aren't sure what comes next. She had been asking God, if you found someone for me, I would love that. They had such a good time on that first coffee date that they immediately made plans for Jerry's July visit. He came back for 10 days. He spent every single one of those 10 days with Georgine. They walked every day, they laughed, usually in a park near Lake Michigan. On one of these later walks, they strolled along the western banks of the lake instead. The water was blue, the sounds were soft. The world felt still in the way it only does when something enormous is about to happen quietly. Jerry turned to her. "I'm in love with you," he said. Then he asked her to marry him. Georgine didn't expect it, but she said she knew in the way that you just know that he was the one. She said yes. Jerry had 2 yeses now, 2 yeses to answer the one no that had haunted him for 35 years. He went back to Washington one final time to pack his things and quit his job. He moved back, and that winter, Georgine Humber, the prettiest girl Jerry Zimmer had ever seen, became his wife. Their wedding had 24 guests. Each one received a copy of the love story Jerry had written himself. 40 years in the making, from the 9th grade hallway till the altar, and for years things were beautiful. Daily walks, a quiet life rebuilt from decades of patience. 2 people who had arrived at the same place for completely different journeys. Then the limp started. Jerry noticed it first. Georgine noticed it before the diagnosis came. A neurologist confirmed what they had already feared: Parkinson's disease, progressive, advancing. But listen to what Jerry said when he shared this story. Listen to the words this man chose. "It's now in its advanced stages, but Georgine and I continue to love each other while I battle these symptoms. Moreover, we love the Lord and we're grateful for what we have together, because it's perfect for us. Perfect for us, not despite everything, not even though or in spite of. Perfect for us exactly as it is." That's not a consolidation prize. That's not someone making peace with disappointment. That is a man who waited 40 years, got everything he asked for, and even at the hardest part, is still saying yes. Here's what I keep coming back to. Georgine said no on a Tuesday afternoon in 1963, and she forgot about it by dinner. Jerry said nothing and remembered it for the rest of his life. The people who shape us most don't always know what they're doing, and the love that lasts, the kind that survives decades and distance and other marriages and grief, doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just drives slowly past your house and checks the phone book and waits for the right moment. Sometimes patience isn't weak. Sometimes it's the longest, quietest kind of faith. If this story moved you, if Jerry and Georgine made you feel something, hit that like button right now. It costs you nothing and it means everything for this channel. Subscribe so you never miss a story like this one, and I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you believe in love that waits? Have you ever had a second chance at something you thought was gone forever? Drop it below. I read every single one. Until next time, stay patient, stay open, and remember, some of the best stories don't start on time. They just start exactly when they're supposed to.